So let's run through. What do we know about this problem? What do you think? There is a solid and dotted. I like it. So are we solving this for the intersection of the points? Are we graphing it? Graphing. Okay, so this is definitely a graphing problem. And one of you had said one of the lines is solid, one of them is dotted. Absolutely correct. So it is an inequality. So this first question is set up to use the cover method on. How do I know that? X and Y, that tells us where it's going to cross the X and Y axis. So if I want to figure out where it crosses the X axis, I'm going to solve for X. So 3X equals 18, so X has to equal 6. And then I cover this one, and I find that Y has to equal what? Negative 3. Don't forget that negative. And is this one solid or dotted? That's solid. It's solid because we have the equal sign. So that green line has now divided our Cartesian plane or our XY axis into two parts. There's a part above it and a part below it. Okay? Let's put the other equation up. The other equation is not set up as it's not set up to do the cover method, but it's set up to use what other method is there? What do you think? No. Y-intercept thingy. Good. So it goes up plus 1. Put a dot. From there, what do I do to find the second dot? I go up 2, and I go right 3. Is this going to be a solid or dotted line? It appears these are parallel lines. So parallel lines, when we're solving them, when they're equal to each other, means there's no solution. But when it's an inequality, we can say, well, we have 3 regions. We have this region, we have this region, and we have this region, and we're looking to where it would be true, true. Okay, so there's only 3 regions if the lines don't intersect. If they intersect each other, it makes it 4 regions. Good so far? So, Celine, what would be a good test point? 0, 0. So good test point, 0, 0. That's in between the 2 lines. If that gives us true, true, we're going to shade in between. So plug in 0, 0 in, 3 times 0, 6 times 0. 0 is less than or equal to 18. That's true. If I plug 0 in here, 0 is greater than 2/3 times 0 is 0 plus 1. 0 is greater than 1. That's false. So I get true, false in this one. Okay? Now you can kind of sometimes, being that I have true, false in there, we can sometimes look saying, okay, which one of the equations gave us false? Or which one of the lines gave us false? The red or the green? What do you think? Yeah.
I have a question. So how did you know that, where you put true, false, how did you know you were trying to find, that part to shade it in?
So I could pick a point anywhere up here, anywhere in between, or anywhere down here. So 0, 0 is just a really easy go-to if the line doesn't go through it. Because you're just, where you have an X or a Y, that becomes 0.
But how did you know, it was, that section you put true, false, where you were, trying to see if you were going to shade it?
Okay. Do you agree that 0, 0 falls here?
Yeah.
So that whole region right here is true, false. No matter what point I pick in that region right there where my hand's going in between those, would give me a true, false.
Oh, so it's the whole thing. It's not just that level up.
Right, right. I just have to select one point.
So it's what's above or below the...
Okay, so I could pick a point up here, and this point right here is probably pretty easy to pick, 0, 3. Okay, so 0, 3 is definitely above the red line. It's also above the green line, but we're not including this region here. So we see if that works. I have x, y, so that's going to give me 0 minus 18 is less than or equal to 18. So is negative 18 less than or equal to 18?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. So that gives me a true scenario here So this whole region so far is true as far as the green line goes. So if I plug it in down here, I'm going to get 3 is greater than 2/3 times 0 is 0 plus 1. So 3 is greater than 1. That also gives me a true. So I have true and a true. So that means that the region that is above the red line, any of those points I pick will give us the true and the true. None of the stuff below the red line will give us both true and true. Nothing below the green. Everything below the green. Everything down here should be false, false. Any of those points I pick. Okay? Does that make sense? And I wanted to make sure you saw something like this because there's going to be a problem on the test tomorrow that I don't know if it's parallel, but it's close to parallel, meaning they would intersect way off the -10 to +10 grid you have. Does that make sense?
Wait, how did you get for the second one true? Because not for the it was like the y and the 2/3 x plus 1. What's that? How'd you get true for the y and 2/3 x plus 1?
So when I plug 0, 3 in, I had a y component of 3.
Okay.
So I get 3 is greater than 2/3 times 0 is 0.
Oh,
0
okay.
plus 1 gives us 3 is greater than 1. That's why it's true.
Okay, thank you.
We good? All right. Somebody took a picture. What's another problem? If you could come up here and just show me what your picture says. Sweet. Thank you. Okay, so Garvey, am I graphing this one? Am I shading the region on this one? Nope. Okay. I could graph it, I guess, and try and figure out where the lines intersect, but it already looks a little goofy. What do I guarantee I know that x is equal to on this problem, Christian? 2y. So wherever I have an x on the other value, I can plug 2y in. So I can plug that in right there. So I get 6y minus 2y is equal to 8. Only gives me one letter to solve for. That gives me 4y equals 8. So y is equal to 2. Megan, if I found my y value being 2, what do I need to do in order to find my x value? Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's two places I could plug it in. I could plug this in here, but that looks like it's going to be a little bit more work. But if I plug it in right here, it's already set up for it. So I'm going to get x is equal to 2 times 2, which is 4. Cool. I'll borrow your phone again. Can I clear it?
Yes. Could you do like one more problem? It was this one right here. It was the 3x plus 2y equals 10 and 2y plus 3y.
I'll do that one next for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Just remind me when I get it done.
All right.
Okay, TJ,
Yes.
am I graphing this one? Am I shading a region? Okay. There was no no on that. Shh. So, Preston, it's a good way I could go about solving this problem. Could I do substitution or could I do elimination?
I feel like elimination would work best for this problem.
Okay. I like it. I'm always with you on elimination, but my mind always works that way. What would I have to multiply the second equation by to get opposite values for x or y? Almost. I want opposite sign though.
Oh, negative 2.
Yeah, so if I take this whole second equation, multiply everything by -2, that gives me -2y equals 6x minus 16. If I bring down this first equation, I'm going to wind up with this. Oh, boy. Bo. Not here. George. That cancels, so what do I have down here? Okay, that cancels what I have down here. That cancels what I have down here. Is 0 plus 0 0? Is 0 equal to 0? Is that true? What can you tell me about the solution? How many of them do I have? None, one, or infinite. So this is true. That gives us infinite solutions. Good deal. Okay? Reese, you had a problem you wanted to see. Can you read it out to me? Someone got their phone on still, but I should have it on computer.
Okay. This is what we got here. My pen. Okay, it's 3x plus 2y equals 10. And then 2x plus 3y equals -2.
Okay? It's a -2, right? Mackenzie, am I graphing this?
No.
No? So if I'm not graphing it, I'm not shading any regions, right? And if I'm not shading any regions, I'm not picking any test points, am I? No. Okay. Like it. Karen? We're not graphing it. I don't know if substitution's going to work real well for us. What do you think? I don't really have a letter I picked up real easy, do you? All right. This is how we're going to approach this problem. Ready? Do you want me to get rid of x or y? It's your choice.
Get rid of x.
I'm asking Karen, but what do you think?
Just do x.
Okay, pick an x. So we're choosing to get rid of x, okay? So that's what we're going to try and focus on. So what's the smallest number that both 3 and 2 have in common? 6. Okay, and I want one of them to be an opposite value. So if I multiply the whole top equation by 2, that would give me 6x. What would I have to multiply the whole bottom equation by in order to have a negative down there? -3. Okay, so this is going to distribute here. So let's bring this over this way. So I get 6x plus 4y is equal to 20. Bring the -3 here, here, and here. So that's going to give me -6x minus 9y equals +6. Is that okay? All right. Tristan. Here. Ray. Anything going to cancel out on those blacks? The x's are gone. If I combine those together, what do I get with the y's? Perfect, -5y. And if I add those together, what do I get? 26? So this is kind of a nastier problem because we're coming up with a fraction of this, my y component. Notice I moved the negative up, totally fine, didn't change the problem at all. All right, Sophia, I have a y value, still with me? I want to solve an x value. So that y value I can plug into either here or here. I think they look about equal difficult. Top one, okay? So I'm going to take that top equation. So I have 3x plus 2. There was a y there. There was a y there. What am I going to put there? 26 over 5. All right, so I got 3x plus, I can't reduce there. That's going to give me like negative 52 over 5 equals 10. Yuck. I'm not a big fan of fractions. I have 3 terms. 3 terms up there. Casey, I have 3 terms up there. I have 3x, I have negative 52 over 5, and I have 10. If I wanted to clear my denominator so I didn't have to deal with it.
The negative?
Huh?
I thought the negative was supposed to be over 5 is. Oh, no, wait, we're supposed to move the negative to the top. My bad.
It doesn't matter. If the negative's down here or up top, it means the exact same thing.
Okay, thank you.
How do I clear the denominator? Some way we've talked about before. Anyone remember? If I have 3 terms, if I'm focusing just solely on this problem right here, what would I multiply all 3 terms by that would eliminate the denominator of 5? 5, good. Okay? If I multiply this by 5, and I multiply this by 5, and I multiply this by 5, watch what's going to happen. 5 times 3 is 15x. This cancels this, so what do I have left? Negative 52, or plus negative, or just negative. It's your choice how you want to write it. And then what does this one become? 50. Dude, I don't have to worry about a fraction right now. That's a cool skill. Okay? So add 52 to both sides. That cancels, so I get 15x is equal to 102. Divide each side by 15. What's that? Mac, you said something I didn't hear, though. I don't know about y'all, but getting an answer of 102 over 15 wasn't that bad, being we did the clearing the denominator. Right? Gosh, that's a good thought process. Was there anything else you wanted me to work out as far as last night's homework? You had more? Rectangle, let's do it. Okay? So we have a request for a rectangle problem. Still with me? Can I clear this? All right. All right. Okay, rectangle problem. A rectangle has a perimeter of 40 feet. The length is 10 more than twice the width. Find the length and width. So I think an easy way to approach this is to draw a rectangle. You have length and width. Again, you've been indoctrinated through elementary school to think the length is always longer than the width, but you'll learn next year in geometry that doesn't matter. We're dealing with the perimeter, so you have to know that your go-to perimeter equation is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, again, that's something you've been working with for a long time. You need to know it. So, Ben, let's try and fill out, do I know anything about the perimeter of this so far?
The perimeter is 40 feet.
40 feet. So, God bless you. If I start taking this, I have 40 equals 2 length plus 2 width. But the problem is right now is I have length and width I'm trying to solve for. I don't have anything else. So now I have to go and try and make another equation that'll work. So Gabe, is there something else that this story problem helps us out with? Huh? What does the second sentence talk about? The length is, it does, I'm sorry, my print, 10, almost. There you go. Now, here's the nice thing. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Good news is, you're stuck. Oh, wait. Sorry. I was just looking at the picture. That's bad. Good news is, you're stuck with me. Sorry, I was just looking at the picture. That's all. You both had blonde hair in the picture. I'm sorry. It's me. All right. Andrew, I have two equations. I have 40 equals 2L plus 2W. I have L equals 10 plus 2W. What would you like me to do? I can. I can. Okay? So I can take this right here, and I can plug it in right for that L. So I have 40 is equal to 2. It was an L there. What's going to go there? If it was an L, what's going to go there now? 10 plus 2W. Okay? There we go. There we go. Yeah, you're right on fire. Subtract 20. Cool. So I get a width that is 20 over 6, which is the same thing as 10 over 3. Agree? Which is 3 1/3 if you wanted to go that way. Cool. So I know that I have a width of 10 over 3. Ashley, if I have a width of 10 over 3, how can I find the length? Which one is going to set up for me to find the length? Yeah, this one is going to allow us to find the length. I'm going to take this, plug it in right there. So that's going to give me L is equal to 10 plus 2 times 10 over 3, which L is equal to 10 plus 20 over 3. If you want, I could clear the denominator for you, but I think if I made 10 over 1, what's that the same thing as? What's the common denominator?
3.
3, so that would be 30 over 3 is the same thing as 10 over 1. Do you agree?
Or no. Wait.
30 over 3, 10 over 1, same?
Yeah.
Okay, so make that 30 over 3. So that's going to, I can add those, that gives me 50 over 3 as a length. Okay, so I have a length of 50 over 3. I have a width of 10 over 3. Can I have lengths that are fractions?
Yeah.
I think so. That works for me. What can a length be? It can't be negative. You get an answer that's negative, what do you know about the solution? It's not going to be a solution, okay? All right. You want to see another one like this? What do you want to go with? Yeah, like 25 minutes.
Another one.
Another rectangle? No, change.
Do we have a shaded one and then
Okay, let me do a rectangle and then remind me of the shading one. Is that cool? All right, Angela, this one for you. Another rectangle. Okay, rectangle has a perimeter of 60 inches. The length is 6 more than the width. Okay, so our go-tos. Let's draw ourselves a rectangle again because second grade teacher said length must be longer than width. We label it that way. We know that the perimeter equation is 2L plus 2W. It's a go-to. What can we start plugging in for perimeter right now? 60. So I know that 60 is equal to 2L plus 2W. Problem right now is I have the length and width. I have an L and a W to solve. I have two unknowns, only one equation. I can't solve it. So I need to generate a second equation. Angelo, what does the second sentence tell us? Length.
6 more than the width.
Length is 6 more than the width. That's all it is. Doesn't say 6 more than twice the width. Doesn't say 6 more than 3 times the width. It says 6 more than the width. So we're going to go with that. I like it. Reese, what can I do with this?
I would insist that we would put the 6 plus the width into where that L is next to
I like it. I'm with you. There was an L there. I'm going to put 6 plus W in there. Let's do the math. That's what, 48? Could I subtract 12? My width is equal to, 12? C. Okay, so if my width was 12, I can plug it in there. My length has got to be what? 18. I love it. I have a length of 18, a width of 12. This is a rectangle that has a perimeter of 60 inches. It has a length that happens to be 6 more than the width. That one came out nice. You got lucky on that one. Okay. Mac, you said you had something you wanted me to do, and I forgot. A shaded one? So shading where they cross?
Yeah.
Okay. Shading problem. Clear ink. Y equals greater than or equal to 2/3 x plus 6. And y is less than negative 3/5 x plus 1. Look good, Mac?
Yeah.
Okay. Both of these problems are, neither one is set up for the cover method. Do you agree? Okay. So, and I'll do one next. I'll do them both on the cover method as well, so you feel okay with that. All right. So the first equation crosses the y-axis where? 6. And from that point, what am I going to do to get the second point? From that point, I'm going to go up 2 and right 3. Solid or dotted?
Solid.
Solid. All right. Second equation has a y-intercept of what? 1. So I'm going to go right, put it right there. What am I going to do from that point? Down 3. 1, 2, 3, and right 5. Solid or dotted? Dotted. So I think I could barely use 0, 0. What do you think, Gage? Barely. I mean, it's barely underneath here, but I feel comfortable enough that 0, 0 is down there that we're going to go ahead and use it as our test point, our first test point. Okay? So, Gage, if I plug 0, 0 in here, I get 0 is greater than or equal to, what's 2/3 times 0? 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to 6? That's false, okay? So we created one false down here so far. Should I just go pick another test point, or am I lucky if I find, what am I lucky if I find? If I find false, false, then diagonally across would be the true, true automatically. Okay, so let's see if the 0, 0 works on the second equation. So on the second equation, plug it in. 0 is less than, what's negative 3/5 times 0, Gage? 0 plus 1. 0 is less than 1. That's true. Oh, shoot. If that's false true up here, it must be what? True false, okay? So it's either going to be out here or over here. So I can't really see right away. So I think maybe I could pick 10, 0. I guess I could probably pick like negative 10, 0. But then I'm dealing with a negative. But I don't know. Okay, so Mac, I'm thinking 10, 0 would be another good test point. If that happens to give me a true, true in this region, I shade it. Gives me false, false, I shade the region over here. Good for you?
Yeah.
All right, so let's figure out if we can make this work. So I have an x and I have a y value. Still with me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get 0 is greater than or equal to 2/3 times 10 is 20 over 3. 20 over 3 plus 6 is 23 over 6 plus 6. That's definitely bigger than 0, don't you think? I mean, there's nothing in there negative. So that gives me false. I could probably stop there because I already found the true false. So I know that this region has to be false true or false false. Okay? I mean, if you wanted to, you could go and plug it in. Or you could just say, well, I know diagonally across because this whole region over here is false false. There's my answer. Cool. What else do we got? What else do you want to do? Should we do a coin problem? Do the coin one? I'll borrow your calculator real quick, though. I want to make a change problem that works. All right, here we go. All right. All right, Celine, help me out. We have 40 coins that happen to be dimes and nickels. D plus N equals 40. I like it. So I look at my coins. I make the observation. I have dimes and nickels. I count how many coins there are, but not put in a numeric value. I just happen to have 40 individual coins sitting there that all happen to be dimes and nickels. Okay, what else do we know? Okay, so 10 cents is like this. Point what? Is it 0.5 or is it 0.05? 0.05. And I'll tell you, that's a big spot. A lot of kids will make mistakes. They feel that 0.5 is the same thing as 0.05, and it's not. Okay, hang on, Reese. I'm coming to you. It's equal to 350. Go ahead, Reese.
I was gonna say, is that 10 supposed to be 40 or?
It is. It is. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
It's like it said 40 coins. That's why I'm like, wait a minute.
You're right. Yeah, I made an error.
It's okay.
Thanks for catching it, though.
No problem. I just want to make sure.
Oh, it makes it better that I work out, and then I don't feel so silly. I mean, I thought I worked out to make it work right.
This is why I ask questions.
I love it. Garvey, coming to you, buddy. Garvey, I don't want to have these decimals in here. I will tell you, if I multiply everything by 10, it moves the decimal one spot. If I multiply by 100, the decimal moves twice. Okay? So that gives me 10d plus 5n equals 350. And then I have d plus n equals 40. Garvey, I think I can use elimination on this one. What do you think? Go ahead, okay. Would you like for me to get rid of the dimes or the nickels? Nickels? Okay, so if I'm going to get rid of the nickels, what should I multiply the bottom equation by so that when I add it to the top equations, 5n goes away? Well, if I multiply by 5, that gives me 5, that makes it 10. Yeah, you do. If I multiply this whole thing by 5, add those together, I get 10n then. But I want it to be 0n. So what's the opposite of positive 5? Negative 5. So if I multiply everything here by negative 5, so I get negative 5d minus 5n equals negative 200. And then this one just comes along for the ride. All right, 5D. Is that all right? Those cancel. Equals how much? 150. Divide each side by 5. So how many dimes do I get? What's 150 over 5, Christian? What's 150 over 5? What's 15 over 5? 3. What's 15 over, or 150 over 5? 30. So I happen to have 30 dimes. I have 30 dimes. How many coins total did I have? 40. 30 of them happen to be dimes. How many nickels do I got? Nickels equals 10. So if I have 10 nickels, 30 dimes, that gives me 40 coins. And it gives me $3.50, not 350. Decimal means something. If we could just forget about the decimals, we'd have a lot of more money. We'd have 100 times the money in our pocket. Sweet. Love it.
Doesn't mean there's an infinite amount of zeros.
Could be.
Can I have your ID? Texting pretty quick though. I like it.
All right, so guys and girls, we got about 11 minutes left. And it's partially my fault, so I take like 10% of the error on it. About 10 minutes left, 11 minutes left. What questions do you have? You're going to see shading problems. Okay? You're going to see problems that intersect. Here, let's do this real quick. Megan, if two lines are parallel, talk to me about the solutions. Is there a solution if they're parallel? No solution. Now, let me ask you this. If I had parallel lines, but I didn't know they were parallel originally, but I happen to know that the answer was no solution, what funny thing would have happened? What funny thing would have happened? Yeah, 5 equals 6. Yeah. Okay. If my two lines intersect, talk to me about the solution. Yeah, Kieran. 1. It's 1, right? Which means I have an x and I have a y value. Okay? If I solve it, I'm able to solve for x and I'm able to solve for y. Okay? If I go and I solve the problem, Ray, and I'm working through elimination or substitution, and all the x's are gone, all the y's are gone, and all of a sudden I get like 19 equals 19. What can you tell me about the solutions? Infinite solutions, so it's the same line on top of each other. Okay, so guys and girls, I have something on Schoology. It's 3 questions. 3 questions. Still with me in this adventure? Okay? This, if you go onto Schoology, you can work together, but it will be due by Friday. Only 3 questions. Okay? And you get all 3 of them correct, I will put a 10 out of 10 in for a quiz score. Okay? If you don't get all 3 out of 3 correct, I won't put any scoring for you, so it means it won't hurt your grade, but it also won't help it. You guys still with me on this adventure? Does everyone know how to get to Schoology?
Yes.
Okay? Yes, sir. What's that? Here, let's take a look. All right. What's my password? Anyone know? Big boy. Thank you. Alright, so Schoology icon, still with me? Not quite sure what your screen's gonna look like. But if I go to you guys, it's called Bonus Quiz January 2016, due Friday, January 29th at 11:59 p.m. So if you're that kid that comes next week and you're like, dude, I totally forgot, I guess it didn't help your grade. So it's a bonus quiz. You click on the bonus quiz. Your mind looks a little different. These things down here are actually math standards that they link to. So if two lines cross, then the solution would be
MCAT
let's see, hang on, let me do this. Options.
-12.
I want to do this. I want to. Comments, questions, test quizzes.
Preview.
Where do you see preview?
Next to the settings and results.
Oh, dude, I love you. Thank you. Begin test quiz. So yours is going to actually look like this, so you'll never see. If you have nickels and quarters totaling 20, a value of $2, then you'll have 10 quarters and 10 nickels. True or false? False. So, now you have to figure out what the problem is. And I'm just looking for it to be in nickels equals, or n equals, q equals. So you do the problem, okay? Okay, next one. If you graph and the two linear equations were parallel, then the results for the answers could look like the following.
C.
B.
Parallel.
B.
B. That's the weird one. What happened? What does this one look like? Infinite.
Solutions.
So it'd be same line, okay? And then if two lines cross, then the solution will be B, x comma y. Boom. There's your answer. So then the only thing you really have to do is you have to figure this one out. So I would say nickels quarters, so n equals q equals would be the answer I'm looking for. Okay, being you're talking about 20 coins, and you're talking about 10 quarters and 10 nickels, I'm pretty sure you can figure that one out. Okay. So this right here is the incorrect answer. So you have to know you have to go n plus q equals 20, and then you have to do 0.05 n plus 0.25 q equals $2 and figure it out. Okay. So that's schooling. That's 3 questions. We just did it. It will help you if you do it before the quiz tomorrow. And then you try that Schoology, those 3 whole questions. So how it will look in the grade book for you all is it'll say bonus quiz January. It either has a 10 or it has a blank. And you want the 10 because that's going to help your grade. Okay? And then we have the quiz also, or the test tomorrow, so that'll be in there as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when is the bonus quiz due? Friday. Okay? And if you don't do it, does it hurt you? No. Okay, I just want to see what you guys do with it, okay? Deal? You guys feel good about tomorrow?
Yeah.
Hey, guys and girls, let me ask you this. Are you still on your adventure of getting at least a 5% better mark than you did last week? I am too. I think some of you are actually looking at like 12, 13%, and I'm proud of you.
I won't be here Thursday, Friday.